All right. Again, we're going to learn a little bit from. Oh, wait a second. What am I looking at? Oh, this is chapter 1. Sorry, I want to go to chapter 11. I knew there was something different than what I wanted. All right, let me kick and do. All right. All right, let's learn a shtickle from the Heilige Zayde Maharal Prague. Actually, let's learn Chodesh Hazelachem. Let's see what we got here. I think there's a lot here. So, this week's Parshas Bo, is my Bar Mitzvah Parsha. The Heilige Zayde Maharal Prague. Again, I've never learned this before. We're learning this together. So in the 12th chapter of Exodus, we have the first mitzvah that's given to the entire Jewish people. And that is a Chodesh Hazelachem Rosh Chodoshim. That this month will be for you the first of all the months. And Rashi brings, he says, Maharal v'chedusha, that God showed Moses the new moon, like the Muslims, they want to see that crescent come out in the moon, and they know that that's the new month. They got that from us, right? That's when our month is, when you can see a little bit of the crescent of the moon. And so it says Chodesh Hazelachem, this month is for you. And so the Heilige Zayde Maharal Prague, excuse me, I'm a little under the weather today. It's Meloshin Zehu Demapik. This, that it has used the word this, Zeh means this. That takes something out. The Mila Zeh Muchoch Al Davar Ramuz. Because when you use the word this, it means something that is, you're pointing attention to it. Meaning you're pointing to it with your finger usually, specifically. Let me say this, right? That's what it says here. Ramos means hinted, means that there's body language involved that's associated with the word this, zeh. Lefichach tzarech loymar shehara levana b'chedusha like kazeh re'eh v'kadosh. That's why you have to say that God showed Moses the moon as it was being renewed, the new moon. And God said to Moses, like this, you should see and sanctify, meaning we declare it's a new month, and there's a liturgy that has to do with the month, different sacrifices, extra sacrifices brought on the new moon. And for us, we recite the Hallel, and we recite the Psalms of the Hallel, the Psalms of Praise, and an additional prayer to commemorate the additional sacrifice. And most likely, even in the times when sacrifices were being brought, an additional prayer was also, certainly in the Second Temple times, an additional prayer was offered that the people should be praying at the same time when the sacrifice is being brought, in order to have a type of a unity among the people. So I believe it's mistaken to think that the prayers came in the place of the sacrifices, but rather that the prayers came not to replace the sacrifice, but in the place of the sacrifice. That's when it says mokim to medim tiknum, tefillos mokim to medim tiknum. It doesn't mean to replace them, but rather it's in the proper place, in the time and the place and the time of the sacrifices, both in the time when the sacrifices were offered and when they're not. Incidentally, it's noteworthy that there are different customs as to whether or not to recite the passages of the sacrifices in Musaf. The old custom was that you only did that if you're praying by yourself, because it was already covered by the Torah reading in a public prayer. But in the private prayer, you need to recite it in order to cover that. But in any event, Maharal Prague is pointing out that the word Zeh means something that is pointed to, so to speak. But God doesn't have a finger. What does that mean? Obviously, it's a prophetic vision. It's not in the essence of who God is. But anyway, and this was written, the head of the months, B'lashon Rabbim. This month is the first of all the months. But the word Chodesh means new, like the new moon. B'lashon Rabbim. Why is this in the plural? Because Moses only saw the one time for the month of Nisan, for the spring month, the new moon, for the one new moon, not all 12 new moons for the year, or 13 in a leap year. Kach Perusha. So this is the meaning. Shu is Chadesh, Huresh Chadashim, Chol Chodesh v'Chodesh. When what is this? When it is renewed, it is the first of the months for every month. It's not specifically this month of Nisan. That's why it says it's the head of the months. That's what the Re'im says. The Mechilta brings this. Rabbi Shmuel said that God told Moses, show them the new moon. Meaning that God showed this to Moses, and Moses was to be instructed that when the new moon comes out, he should teach the Israelites, this is the way that we have our months, this is the way we have our calendar, that Moses was supposed to point with his finger and demonstrate through that body language the new month. And so it seems obvious from the context that this is talking about the new moon, the head of the month. There's a question here in the first chapter of the tractate of Passovers, of Pesachim. That's Pesachim Vavam and Beis, Pesachim 6b. The Kamer Daru Kaladas B'nai Yisrael, that in Exodus chapter 12 verse 3 it says, "He shall speak unto the entire assembly of the children of Israel." Rish Chodesh Ne'amar. This is stated about the new moon. Umak Shemanu Lan the Rish Chodesh Ne'amar. And the question is, how do we know that this is talking about Rosh Chodesh, about the new moon? Eimer B'dal B'yarcha. Maybe it's the fourth day of the month. Hashta Kasha Hare Chodesh Hazeh. So that gives a question to when it says this month. The Mashal of Rosh Chodesh Ne'amar. This seems to indicate that we're talking on the new moon. Toisvus Tertzu Hasam. Toisvus has an answer there. They were Maschel Limai. Nehida Chodesh Hazeh Rosh Chodesh Hoya. And when it says this month, it's talking Rosh Chodesh. Avril Davril Koladas Yisrael. When it says speak unto all of the congregation of Israel, Manwan the Rosh Chodesh Ne'amar. Where do we derive that this is a reference, that this was stated on the new moon? Maybe it was said on the fourth or fifth day of the month. There's Tosfos Hayisi Oimer the Holy Kasha. So Tosfos answered, it's not a question. The Hada Ka'amar Chodesh Hazeh, when it says this month, Amar Lahem Kazerei B'Kadesh. When it says this means you point with your finger, and this is what you see, and this is what you sanctify. Hualiba de Rabbi Shmuel. This is according to Rabbi Shmuel's teaching. The Loidarish Raka Chodesh Hazeh. He's not teaching only this month. Should we even try this mikveh? Kazerei B'Kadesh, that you should look like this and sanctify it. Avo Aliba to Rabbi Akiva, but rather is according to Rabbi Akiva's teaching, the polig Rabbi Shmuel Behedia, that he openly argues with Rabbi Shmuel, the Mechilta, there in the Medrash, Mechilta, V'dor Shloisha Devarim is Kasha Moshe Asher Lei Kodesh Baruch V'Aitzvah. That the various things that were difficult for Moses to understand until God pointed to them. Menorah v'chodesh v'shratzim, and those were the menorah and the new moon and the animals that are unclean, the creepy, crawly animals. What type of reptiles and rodents? This is Mechilta. This is brought in Mechilta. Lefiza loy haiber Rosh Chodesh. According to this, it wasn't Rosh Chodesh. How much longer is this? All right, let's go see if there's a mikveh. All right, let's pause this. All right, it's good that I went to that mikveh. It was freezing cold, but since I'm feeling under the weather, I know it's not COVID because I got tested. I got a flu shot also. It's funny, I can't get the booster because I need to be healthy for 3 days, they say, for the COVID shot. So it's been a shamayim. But anyway, I don't think anybody else is going in that freezing cold mikveh. So it's very good that that's the one I went to instead of going to a nice hot mikveh, which would be further away. This is right near home. Maybe 5 minutes from home. So let's finish learning. But just schmoozing a little bit. Well, there's so many cars coming. But it's so. So this was written this month, right? Chodesh Hazeh means this month. Kodesh Baruch Hu Maharal Levona B'Mara Neviah. It means that God showed Moses the moon with the prophecy in a prophetic vision. Like the Gemara in Menachos Chavtes Amud Aleph says that God showed Moses the menorah, the candelabrum of fire in a prophetic vision. He didn't show him the actual menorah that's in the Mishkan, that's in the tabernacle. He said also there's no doubt that God didn't have the geckos and the weasels and whatever other animals, toads, I don't know, whatever other animals, chameleons and monitor lizards. There was a question, it was the koyach and monitor lizards, whatever it is. He didn't have them come visit him, but rather God showed these animals in a prophetic vision. So too, the month, the new moon, that God showed him, it was the vision of what the moon should appear in the new moon. The Re'im, commentator, he asks, he has a question on the answer that the Tosfos gives, that they saw a difference between this passage that says, speak unto the children of Israel, and the passage that says, this month shall be unto you. But the Mechilta openly says, the Medrash says, that when it says speak unto the children of Israel, that was the same day. It was also Rosh Chodesh, same night. So it's not such a big question. Because the Mechilta is Rabbi Shmuel's teaching, like we said. Rabbi Akiva argued with Rabbi Shmuel. He says you don't have to say like that. But in any event, whatever question we have, whatever makes more sense, it's a more sensible thing. And for this reason, Gam Leperish Toshvus Lakasha. Also for the explanation that the Tosfos gives, also not a question. So the Amr Mechilta Dabru, that when the Mechilta says that when that God told Moses, "You shall speak unto the children of Israel," Hyberish Chodesh, that took place on the new moon. Lav Davka Berish Chodesh Haya, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in the new moon. It could be a different time. The main thing is it didn't happen on the 10th day of the month, which was Shabbos Agadol, right? Meaning they preempted the teaching of what's going to be the 10th day of the month, when they had to take the lambs for the Paschal offering. That was the 10th of the month, so they had to let them know ahead of time, right? That's the third verse. But whatever day it was, whether it was the first day, the third day, fourth day, fifth day, it was not on the 10th day of the month. The main thing is that they didn't just bring this on that, today you have to go get a lamb. They gave them a couple of days, whether it's 7 days, whether it's 8 days, whether it's 6 days, whether it's 10 days. They had a heads up. Because how could it be that they take this out from that which is written, and you should take for yourself on the 10th day of the month, Shahaya Hadiba Rish Chodesh. So the word came on the new moon. But rather, that the taking of the lamb, that should take place on the 10th day of the month, but not that the word came on the 10th day of the month. But there's no reason that you have to say that the word came on Rosh Chodesh. Something else. Another question from Tosfos. When it says this month, right? So in the Gemara in Shabbos, Pei Beis Amud Beis, seems that when it says a Chodesh is Elochem, that was stated on Rosh Chodesh. The Kamar Hasam Kalei Alma Moedi the Rosh Chodesh also Lemidbar Sinai, because everybody agrees that it was on Rosh Chodesh, it was on the first day of the month, that they came to the wilderness of Sinai. And Manuan, so where knows Ksiv Hachav Yemezebo Midbar Sinai, because it says in Parshas Yisro, in Exodus 19, verse 1, on this day they came to the wilderness of Sinai, Ksiv Hasam. And here in our verse it says, Chodesh Hazeh. It says this month. Mahasam Rish Chodesh, Avkan Rish Chodesh. They're both Rish Chodesh. They're both a new moon. New month. Right? V'im Kain Mashma, there's an Indian. They say if you can't do the full Gilgal Shelig, to take some snow and put on your forehead, you do a Chaven to the Shem Shakai 3 times. Is the Indian also wash your hands in the snow? It's the Indian of Gilgal Shelig. Anyway, I've been meaning to talk about that for a while. So V'im Kain Mashma the Chodesh is a Rish Chodesh. It's obvious that when it says this month, it's Rish Chodesh. And the first chapter of Psachim, the Kamar Manulan the Rish Chodesh Koi. So where do we derive that it's talking about Rish Chodesh? We know it's not the 4th or the 5th day of the month. But the minion, the Menayan L'Toisvus Davar Zel Hakshos. I didn't understand why is Tosfos asking this question. The Shaper Metzina Loim with the Bal B'Yarcha Havekoi. Because then why didn't the scripture just tell us that it's the 4th day of the month? Mikol Makim D'Chsiv Chodesh.
Enough.
HaChodesh Hazeh Hu Omer Al Hascholos Rish Chodesh. If it says this month means the beginning of Rosh Chodesh. Moshe Badal B'Yarcha Haviyam Chodesh Hazeh Nisan. And also when it says a Chodesh Hazeh, it's talking about Nisan, the spring month. Rish Chodoshim L'Chodshei Shana. This is the first month of the months of the year. Kilo Amar Rish Chodesh Zeh Shel Nisan Hu Rosh L'Chodoshim. Meaning that this Rosh Chodesh Nisan is the Rosh Chodesh of all. It's like the new year. It's the first month of all the months of the year. The Visa Heist there. The Maharal Shik, he was opposed to using numbers for secular calendar because Chodesh Hazeh, this month, Nisan is the first month. In any way, not everybody's careful about that. Anyway, it's not the actual halacha, but it's the Indian maybe. Anyway, Hashi Olive Shop here. So we have this. It comes out like this. It's written on this day. Elsewhere, it's written this month. So what over there? That's Rosh Chodesh. That's the first day of the month. That's the new moon. That's what it specifically says this month. Means the beginning of the month. Even if it's the fourth or fifth day of the month, because this month is the first month of all the months, so that shows that it's specifically on the first month, the first day of the month. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Know that Shabbos is in like 2 minutes?
Yeah.